I'm Tom.
And I'm Molly.
Welcome to Friends at Gameology, hosted by MoonlightCrew.com.
Reviews for science.
In 7 minutes or less. Warhammer Invasion, a living card game from the Fantasy Flight line of living card games. This one, a Warhammer, old-style fantasy Warhammer, not 40k, but a Warhammer universe in which you play a certain race or faction. Molly's got the dwarves, I've got the Empire. There's chaos and orcs, and then in for future expansions, the dark elves and the high elves, and you have to damage your opponent's capital. If you damage a section of their capital 10 times, they get a burn mark. And so if you've burned 2 sections of their capital, you win. Or if you draw all of your cards and you can't draw another card, you lose. You deck yourself. So there's fighting, there's moving, there's resource management, there's playing cards on other people's turns, tactics, and there's just all sorts of trying to take advantage of your deck while killing your opponent. Simplicity versus complexity.
I think there are. I mean, it's fairly simple. There's an order of things that happens every turn. You get your money, then you draw your cards, and you do things that if they are in the right spot, like the quest spot, they do these special actions. You add a unit there or whatever, and then you play whatever cards you want to play using your resources, and then you attack. And so that's every turn. That's what kind of happens. But every card has text on it, and there are a lot of unique cards, but there's a lot of doubles or triples or whatever, multiple of the same. So if you understand one, maybe you understand the other. But knowing where to put what, so that's getting a little into a strategy. So I won't go into much detail, but there's a little bit more than just that. But at the same time, it is pretty simple, and you just play cards in your hand, and you're just trying to damage the other side.
The turn order makes things pretty simple once you get it down. The more of the Warhammers you have in each zone lets you do more things. You either get more currency, or you draw more cards, or you have more attack value. Other than that, though, it gets complex in that there are a lot of unique cards with a lot of different text, and the text is small. So I'm looking across the table. We don't normally sit next to each other when we play this game. I'm looking across the table. I'm like, I can't even see what's going on over there. Will you please read me every single one of your cards? So that's where it gets a little complex. Luck versus strategy.
I think there's a lot of strategy in this game. Granted, there is a ton of luck. Briefly, we'll talk about one time when I was doing really well. I'm pretty sure it was humans. I was doing amazing, and then Tom played this one card, and he wrecked me and won. Right? Or he didn't win just then, but like it was, he won like a turn or two later. And so there is that luck, but that doesn't happen too often. The strategy is so deep because some of these cards have, like this one says kingdom, and it does something in the kingdom, but it's also it also is a hammer. So if you really need cards, you put it over here. So you don't have to put them where they're specific for, because they can be useful elsewhere. So that's interesting. And then also you've got to be really careful with how many Warhammers you have here. And Warhammers are these little red dots. For every, like what Tom said, for every one of those, you do something. Like here, you draw cards, and if you get to the bottom of your deck, you lose. And so you've got to be really careful because you want cards to play them, but you don't want to get to the bottom of your deck too fast. So there's tons of strategy. And then there's also the fighting strategy, which is maybe what most people are familiar with in a lot of games, is fighting.
This game is so strategic, deciding what to damage first. You attack, they get to choose whether or not they'll defend. If they don't defend, the damage goes through to the section of their capital. So attacking and then deciding on defense, do I let this unit die and it's gone forever, or do I become closer? Do I get closer to defeat? When you're attacking, it's where am I going to go first? Am I going to try to deny them resources, either via the resources that they get for to spend like currency, or am I going to deny them resources in terms of cards in their hands? They can't draw as much and therefore can't do as much. Or am I going to try to deny them resources that will attack me, and I'm going to attack their battlefield? There's so much strategy in this game, and I found that typically the person who wins has definitely had the better strategy each time from what I've seen in the many games I've played of this. Fun versus boring. This game is so fun. I really like it. I tend to not like living card games because they just become too much for me. It becomes a lifestyle game. But because I've only purchased one expansion to this and it's not become too much, I really enjoy going back to it each time. It scratches the Magic the Gathering itch for me, which is weird because it's the only real. I mean, there are some similarities, but it's really different from Magic Gathering, but still, it just does it for me. I really enjoy the strategy in this game. and I enjoy the difficult decisions, because when you attack, even whether or not I will attack is a difficult decision, and then where, and then if when I'm defending when someone else attacks, it's just there's a lot of weight that makes all these decisions matter, and I enjoy it.
This game is not my favorite, and I just don't think I care for the 2-player skirmish games as much, and so it's not my favorite. That being said, it is enjoyable. It is enjoyable. I really like the theme, the fact that each race, like the dwarfs, are really good at defense, which is thematic for dwarfs across the spectrum, I guess, and the chaos race is really good at just creating chaos. Exactly what they do. They corrupt and turn your cards so you can't use it. I mean, it's just crazy, and the humans are overall
Mobility.
They move a lot, and then you've got the orcs, which just have tons of small units that attack so much, and you just die quick. And so I do enjoy that aspect, but it is not my favorite. That being said, my BGG rating, I would probably give this a 4 or 5.
I'd go up to like 8 on this.
No. So we are friends at Gameology. Every time we get to multiples of 500 subscribers, we give away a free glitter painting of your favorite geeky thing. So make sure to subscribe now.
So it could be you that wins.
Warhammer Invasion. We've presented the evidence.
You be the judge.